a few different forms of equity, or a few different ways that you can raise in the initial stages of your company to take on debt, because the bank doesn't want to talk to you. They don't want anything to do with you unless you have a 5-year history and you can show them that you've got all the cash in the world. The thing is with the banks, they only want to give you the money when you don't actually need it any longer.
Right.
So you have to keep that in mind. So a lot of folks, what they do when they're starting a small business, they just put it on credit cards. They take equity out of their home. And some people feel bad about that, but I say no. If you've got available equity in your home, if you've got credit cards and you want to start your business that way, I say that's a good idea as long as you're doing it in a responsible way. You're not just racking up debt with no real business plan on how you're going to be able to pay that debt back. You just need to be careful that you actually have a plan. If you're going into business and you don't have a plan, then you've already planned to fail there. So keep that in mind as well. So it's nothing wrong if you have to take money off your credit cards, or if you want to take equity out of your home to start a business. Just have a good plan when you do so. But you do want to remember the banks, because banks are good partners. As you grow and as you get bigger, as your business gets bigger, as its appetite grows, as I've mentioned before, banks will become a critical part of the business process. They're great at helping you with your cash management. They can give you loans for equipment. They can give you loans for working capital. They have a tremendous amount of flexibility. It's just harder to get a loan if you're starting out. So what a bank normally looks for, I'm going to give you a couple of points that you may want to remember if you want to go talk to a banker, a guy like me. We're looking for at least 3 years of operating history. We want to be able to look at 3 years of income and expenses. And the reason why we do that is because we're looking to establish a trend. We want to see what your income trend is over a few years. We also want to see what your expense trend is as well. And what are we looking for? We're looking for income to go up and expenses to be going down. So that's what you want to be making sure you're looking at when you prepare your package for your banker. We also look at the balance sheet. We want to see what kind of assets you have. We want to see what kind of liabilities the business currently has. And we look at what we call current liabilities. Current liabilities are liabilities that need to be paid off within a year's time. Those liabilities are most important because those are the ones that are coming due very quickly. And we place a lot of weight on whatever you did as far as income in the previous year. So we're looking really heavily at what you did as far as income and expenses in the previous year. So the one thing that you want to keep in mind about banks is you go out, and I completely encourage you to go out and shop for a bank partner. A lot of us make a huge mistake when we just, we get in bed with the bank that's right down the street because it's easy to go make a deposit, or it's easy to do a withdrawal. Or we get in bed with the bank that we seen the commercial on. Well, we were watching the Super Bowl over this past Sunday, and Wachovia just had a great commercial. I'm going to bank with Wachovia. And nothing against Wachovia, nothing against Bank of America, nothing against any specific bank in general. You need to make sure that you're shopping for your bank. You need to go out and talk to several bankers, interview the banker the same way they interview you. Because they need to be able to provide for your needs just as well as you need to be able to pay them back whatever you borrow from them. So a lot of times I advocate that if you're a small company, you may want to start out with a smaller bank. They normally remember your name. They remember your company. They know what's going on with your business. You can come in and get someone's ear if you need them. So I normally recommend you, as your company grows, you move to a bigger bank. And as you get bigger, then a bigger bank tends to make a little bit more sense as your needs grow as well. A good way to get ready for a bank, and I've got some information I'm going to share with you guys after the program. Here in Winston-Salem, we have a program called the Micro Enterprise Loan Program. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may haven't. But the program is administered by a great gentleman, if you haven't met him, and his name is Darrell Little. And the program was specifically set up to prepare business owners for banks. They give small microloans, which are typically about $25,000. They don't go over $25,000. But it's a good way for a business to get a small loan and to get ready for the bank, to show the bank that you can pay a loan back, to show the bank that you do have a business plan to qualify for the capital that you need. And Darrell hosts programs, continuous programs. He teaches you more about business. He helps you write a business plan. And most importantly, he has access to funds in order to help your business get a little farther off the ground. Now, I know the micro enterprise loan program used to work with Wachovia. So what they used to do was as you matured as a business, they would hand you off to Wachovia, and Wachovia would become your bank. I'm not sure if that's still a component. I know there was some conversation that Bank of America was going to take their place or some things like that. But either way you look at it, there is a bank in place that they hand you off to after you went through the program, and that's the Micro Enterprise Loan Program. It's actually housed right here in the Winston Tower building on the 26th floor, and I've got some information I'll give you about the program at the end of the talk here. A couple more things you want to make sure you keep in mind about debt. Oftentimes, the local community that you operate in will have local incentives. I know here in Winston-Salem, and I don't know if it's still going on or not, but in Winston-Salem we had the Restaurant Row program. So if you wanted to open a restaurant on 4th Street, you could get a low-interest loan from the city in order to do that. So a lot of cities will set up different types of local incentives in order to encourage business owners to open a business or start a company, because that's economic growth for the community. Getting a restaurant downtown, I mean, you guys have seen what we've been able to do in downtown Winston-Salem. And it's great for the community. It gives you more options when you want to go out to eat the dinner. It gives you more options if you want to go out and grab a show. So it's great what we've done, but most importantly, it's added a larger tax base for the city as well. All the way around, it's a winner. So most local communities will typically have some type of incentives set up for that. I can't tell you the number of business owners that don't take the time to go down to the city and figure out if any of those incentives or loan programs are available. A couple more things or a couple more sources you might want to keep in mind when considering debt. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, and you can go on their website. They have a plethora of information at sba.gov, sba.gov. There are two programs that we administer at Wharton Gladden through the SBA program, and that's the SBA 7A and the SBA 504. The SBA 7A program is a little more flexible. It does allow for you to purchase equipment. You can get working capital if you need for your business, or even if you wanted to buy a business. I actually, about 2 years ago, I financed a guy who wanted to buy the insurance company that he had been working at. He wanted to buy it out from that owner. So even if you want to buy a business, the SBA is a good way to do that as well. The SBA 504 program is a little different in the sense that they want to see a real estate component. So now you've gotten your business off the ground, you got your initial equity capital, you're growing, you're doing a good job, you're selling your products, you're selling your widgets. Now you need somewhere to go. You got to get it out the house, or you got to get it out the garage and get you some business property. The SBA 504 program is a great way to accomplish that. And the reason why I like it so much is because they give you 90% leverage. That means you only have to come in with 10% down when you buy a piece of real estate. And that's great, because if you go to the bank, they're going to want you to come in with about 20 or 25% down. So that's great for a business owner that's growing and maybe doesn't have a lot of equity money to put into the purchase of a piece of real estate. And then finally, on the debt side, you also want to keep in mind the capital markets. Wharton Gladden & Company, we are a real estate investment banking group. So in a sense, what we do is we work with business owners who want to tap the capital markets in order to buy or refinance business property. So you have insurance companies, you've got conduit institutions, you've got all these capital providers out in the capital markets that have money available if you want to buy property. And it's great because a lot of times our loans are amortized over 30 years. In comparison, if you go to Southern Community here locally, they may want to amortize the same loan over 20 years. And that's a big difference for a business owner. It lowers your monthly debt service with the longer amortization. With the lower monthly debt service, you have more money available to spend on marketing, to spend on salaries, and to spend on growth, to spend on growing your business and not paying on a mortgage. So there's all kinds of sources available in the capital markets. And our group, Wharton Gladden, was set up simply to help people like you navigate the capital markets because there's so much going on out there.